Hey everybody, Mountain Grandma here. Look at all of this yarrow. Can you see it? Oh, I got some dandelion leaves here too. Those are going to be a part of dinner, so I will pull these out. But what I'm going to be doing with the rest of all of this yarrow is dehydrating it for and putting some of it in a tincture. So I like to save it for teas. I like to put it in alcohol to make a tincture out of it. First, I'm going to clean it all up, but these came from my beds, and I'm just super excited about this. So look at all of the yarrow. It smells like a cross between pine and mint. And I'm doing this as part of the May It Last collaboration that's hosted by Natasha at the Budget Preppers. And I want to thank her for the invitation to join in this collaboration. And with that said, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you're seeing me do here is I'm cutting up some fresh and already cleaned yarrow, and I clean it by running it under cool water and just making sure it's free of any dirt, bugs, debris kind of things. So I'm cutting this fresh because the first thing that you're going to see me make is a tincture. And I want to share with you while I'm cutting this up some information about yarrow. Disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. Y'all do your own research. This is just information that I've found through textbooks that I reference and my previous herbal courses. So yarrow is a cooling herb, and it's also referred to as a tonic. Some of the properties that it has include it is astringent, antibacterial. It's also an alterative and an antispasmodic. It's an antiseptic, it's anti-inflammatory, as well as carminative. It's an emmenagogue, a diaphoretic, a sedative, and a vulnerary. Some of the uses for yarrow include to treat fever, colds, and headaches. Those are the things that I've typically used it for in tea form. It's also great for GI problems. Those would include like ulcers, diarrhea, but even your regular case of, acid reflux. It's good for that. It's also great for gout, and it's great as a hormone balancer. And this is probably because it's also good at detoxifying the liver. So when you get the liver all cleaned out, your liver is what processes your hormones. So those two kind of go hand in hand. And it's also great for just your circulatory system in general. And topically, it's used to stop bleeding. It's a styptic. And it even also goes by the name of nosebleed for that reason, because it stops bleeding. You can use it in deep cuts because it does have those antiseptic, antibacterial properties to it. And if you infuse it in an oil, you could also use it to treat sunburns. It's great for varicose veins. Great for your skin. Listen to this. It stimulates dermal fibroblasts, boosting collagen and elastin production and enhancing the skin's regeneration, firmness, and elasticity. So yes, it would be great to put in a serum for your face. And also, it could be a natural pesticide. So that's one of the things that I'll be using it as. So enough of all this. Let's go ahead and get back to making stuff. So what you're seeing here is I've got all of this yarrow in a jar. I'm filling it up almost all the way, leaving a little bit of headspace there. And I'm going to pour over the top of it vodka, 80 proof. You don't necessarily need to use like an Everclear or 100 proof alcohol to tincture yarrow. You can use an 80 proof is fine. So I'm going to cover that, put the lid on it. I'm going to shake it up. I'm going to put it in a dark place, and I'm going to come back and shake that every day. I'll label it with what it is, and then I'm also going to put the date that it'll be ready. It needs to sit and macerate for like 6 weeks. So I would put a date 6 weeks from the day that I actually poured that over the top of it. Okay, now on to the oil infusion. Okay, so what you're seeing here is those fresh yarrow greens. They have not been dehydrated yet. I'm being kind of picky about these, and I'm going through and being super picky because I'm going to dehydrate these and I'm going to make these into a tea. And some of them are going to be dehydrated and put into an oil infusion. And I'm going to share with you how pretty some of these leaves are too. It's just a beautiful fern-like leaf. I just love this. All right, so I've loaded up about 5 of my drawers in my dehydrator. I've also got some bananas, some dandelion roots, and some mullein leaves in here too. But I got 5 drawers of yarrow. So I'm going to get this dehydrated. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. I'm going to set this to about 115 degrees. Probably be about 6 hours of dehydration time and get that started. So what you're seeing me do now is just to cut up all of these dried herbs. I'm going to share with you 3 different things. The first thing I'm going to do is make an herbal powder, and then I'm going to infuse the oil and set some aside as tea. So let's go ahead and get started with that herbal powder. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is take this and put it in my coffee bean grinder. And we're going to turn this into, I'm making a mess, into a powder. I want it as light and fine as I can get it, and that looks pretty good. Here you go. Show you how full that is. Just a little tin. This is the perfect size to go into a first aid kit, maybe a portable one that you would put in your bug out bag. And then I've got some other things that I want to do with this remaining yarrow, so I'll show you what I'll be doing next. Next up, we're going to get our herbal oil infusion going. So you got a jar here with some dried herbs almost all the way, a little bit of headspace. You're going to see me pour oil over the top of this. Since I do plan on using this not just as the oil not just for a salve, but also because I want to make a face oil and some lotion, I'm using jojoba oil. That's my oil of choice. It can tolerate being simmered because that's what we'll be doing with this. So I'm going to get this covered, put the lid on, and then we will hop over to the double broiler method. All right, here's my old yucky pot I use with the tile down at the bottom of it. So here's the yarrow. He's got a friend named Lemon Balm, and I've got this low and slow, guys. I'll probably let this go ahead and just warm up this evening. I'll turn it off tomorrow. I'll let it sit in the warmer. I could very well let this sit in here for days, kind of turning the stove on and off. I don't worry about that. The longer it infuses, the better. You just don't want it to get hot, like super duper hot. You certainly don't want it to boil, and yeah, so that's what I'm doing. That's what we got going on, and stay with me. You're going to see what I'm going to be using this for. So here's everything I made. I've got this tincture here with the yarrow. You can take that 1 to 2 milliliters 2 to 3 times a day for cold and fever. I've got this yarrow powder that I shared with you earlier. And then also just the loose leaf tea that I'll be using to make other tea blends. And last but not least, the jojoba oil infused yarrow that I'll be making a salve and lotion and some face oil with. And that's for another video. I hope you all will like and subscribe and come back to watch me make those things. Oh, and I forgot to share, I'm going to be doing a bug spray with that yarrow tincture too. So come back to see how I do that. And that's everything that I did with the yarrow today. Lots of ways to make your herbs last. I hope you guys are enjoying this collaboration. Make sure to go check out all of the videos. There's a playlist over at the Budget Preppers that has all the videos that are being shared by great channels. So go check that out. And thank you all so much for watching. Until I see you next time, remember everybody, keep your joy.